I'm the life changer now. So any moment could be an impactful moment. Like if I'm talking to a group of guys, I want that moment to be big. That might be the biggest moment of my life. You know, I don't know that. But like me being a life changer, that's how I go into every situation. God gave you that vision for a reason. Just do it and believe in yourself. You know, everything else that come with it, take it. You know, you can say one thing to somebody and it change their life forever. Don't worry about sitting on the back of the bus. Just focus on where you're going. Every moment is a life-changing moment. Speak on it, don't hold it in. What's up? This is another episode of Speak On It. I'm the host, the life changer. I got a special person that holds a special place in my heart. My pastor, if did nobody know, this is my pastor, Bishop Calvin Scott. And we sitting here at Believers Temple. But before we get started, before we tap into what we're about to talk about, I want to give a shout out to Cash App, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple, Tidal, Joe Budden Network. They doing great things over there, man. Shout out to all them, man. What's up, Bishop? How you doing?
Good, man. Good, Rip.
First, before we get started, I just want to thank you. Thank you for being my pastor, man. Thank you for walking in my life and changing my life. And to keep it real with, I wanted to say this, but that's really kind of where the life changer name come from, me changing my life. So you was a part of that, you know. You baptized me. You taught me a lot, man. You taught me how to be a man of integrity, even with playing basketball, there was certain things that you kept me away from, you know, and I could just keep going on, but it ain't about me. It's about you being a special guest, man, on my podcast, on my platform that God gave me, you know. So where we started at, where Calvin Scott, like where the childhood, like how was you brought up? Like, how was it before, like being a pastor and before even God?
Well, obviously, there's a journey. Life is a journey. Yeah. I am the oldest of 10 children. My mother was a single parent. And, of course, I've said this many, many times. My mother was my first leader in terms of leadership development. Because my mother would go to work, and she would go out, you know.
Yeah.
She would leave me in charge. And she was the kind of mother that when she said, go right, you went right. And if you go left, she would give you a slap upside your head.
There's gonna be a lot of old school quotes. They might go over my head, but hey.
Yeah, but my mother, again, she was the person that, as a young man, you know, as I mentioned, I'm the oldest of the 10 kids. And she would leave me in charge. She would tell me, you know, when I'm gone, keep everything in check, you know, obviously,
yeah.
Brothers and sisters, you know, and when I come back, I want stuff in order. Obviously, we did some crazy stuff growing up, but
yeah.
That whole piece of leadership early on in life really was the DNA of my development in terms of leadership. So as a young man, a leader, and then also having a winning attitude. I can recall, because you're too young to know this, I can recall us playing marbles and, you know, different little things that we would do in the hood. It was the neighborhood, not jacks.
Okay,
the girls played jacks.
Okay.
Marbles and things of that sort, and then having that winning attitude.
Yeah.
So as a kid, just something about winning that was a part of my DNA, and so that thread just perpetuated throughout my life as a young man. And,
that's good.
So again, I look at my life today, and I look back, because my mother is with the Lord now. She died as a result of COVID-19. But she was the person.
Where was Dad?
Dad was not in my life. As a matter of fact, I didn't meet my father until I was 15 for the very first time. And then I met him again at 30. So 15 and then 30. So I didn't have that positive male role model in my life at the time, of course. And so he wasn't a part of my life.
Do you think that was some of the reasons why, did it affect you?
Oh, absolutely.
Let me ask that, did it affect you?
Oh, absolutely.
I know it affects you in a good way too.
Yeah.
When you talk about winning and leadership, you had to be that.
Absolutely. It affected me. And to be quite frank, it affected me emotionally. you know, as a young black man, not having that emotional impact or deposit from another black man.
Yeah.
Of course, and so it affected me. Matter of fact, I didn't really get what I would term healed from that until I was about 30.
Wow.
Yeah. So I carried that weight, that emotional dysfunctionalism, for 30 years, you know, until.
Is it a certain way, or could you explain, like, if somebody going through that right now, what was some of the things that you did to heal from that?
Well, because you know I'm a man of God.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that having God in my life, you
Okay.
know, and the reality of, number one, having that emotional dysfunctionalism was really, just really was sort of like a thorn in my makeup. But having a conversation with God one day, had a dream, as a matter of fact, and the Lord showed me in the dream He had healed me. And I said to the Lord, I said, well, if I'm healed, then why do I feel like I feel? He said, when you acknowledge to me, that's what the Lord said to me. He said, when you acknowledge to me that you're sick, I'll heal you. Just that simple.
Wow.
I said, Lord, you're telling me that when I confess that I'm sick, you will heal me? I said, well, I'm sick, God. So I said that because here again, I've been carrying. Let me say something to you, Rip. I would have moments for whatever number of years, up to say 30, where I would be waking up in the middle of the night, tears rolling down my eyes as a young man, because that connection I didn't have with my father. And so, as I mentioned, when I acknowledged to the Lord that I'm sick, and He healed me. And so from that point to this day, you know, I am healed. I'm whole emotionally.
That's good.
And it's really important because, you know, I have 3 daughters.
Yes.
And one of the things I was challenged with as a young black man was trying to pour into my daughters emotionally.
Yeah.
But my challenge was I didn't have it to give because I'm broken. They
That's
wanting
tough.
me to give that to them, but I didn't have it.
Right.
And I'm frustrated because I'm wearing this great daddy badge. I'm paying the bills and doing things that fathers should do.
Yeah.
But they wanted that emotional deposit that I couldn't give, and now I'm giving it now. You know, and again, I had to ask God to heal me.
That's tough, man. That's tough. So transitioning, mom, the passing of mom was a great role model in your life. Showed you the first leadership that that you ever tapped into. Take us through the emotions and everything that was going on when the passing of her, because I know she meant something to the church.
Oh, absolutely.
She, I met her, great person.
Absolutely.
So take us through that.
Well, of course, there's nobody like Mom. Mama's
I
Mama.
can't. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I still have my mom. I just can't.
There's nobody like Mama. Because being in leadership, I wear this, this not tough, but you got to be strong,
Yeah.
because so many people pull on me, draw on me. So when Mom passed, I had a moment at her casket, and that moment, it was not Bishop Scott. It was not the 61, I'm 62 now, so it was 61-year-old man. It was the 5-year-old little boy.
Wow.
That stood at the casket. And when I wept because inside that grown individual was a little boy. That mom is gone now, And so that emotional moment really just brought to fruition the reality that, mom is mom, and that part of me will always be with me, but the reality is that I still had to go through a healing process. And I'm better now, I still think about it all the time. But it was very traumatic emotionally, it really was.
Wow. Dang, man. And I'm sorry to hear that. I ain't get a chance to tell you that. I'm sorry.
Because here's the deal, because see, when you're a leader, you're giving out, you're leading. Again, as I mentioned, people look up to you. But the reality is that behind the veil, there's a real person.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's a real person. And so, and I preached her funeral too, so I had to.
Oh my God.
My emotions, I had to put
man.
them on hold, preach her funeral, But again, God gave me the strength to do it. It was not me, it was Him really helping me.
That's good. Yeah. So we gonna flip the story. Man, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's tough, Bishop. I'm sorry to hear that, man, but I know that God got you. I know that that's your foundation, so I know you're gonna be all right. Um, Flipping the story, the journey to being a pastor now. Was it like you was in church, you started going to church? What made you go to church? What made you even decide, okay, let me give this thing a try?
You know what, Rip?
Because I hear about you being up under Alfonso and them guys.
Right, right.
Rest in peace to them guys too,
Right,
as
right,
well.
right, right. Well, I got saved at 19. I don't know if you know that or not.
I think I heard something like that,
Yeah,
but you got
yeah.
so many long stories.
Listen, man, when I got saved, I had dope in the car.
Wow.
Yeah, I had dope in the car. I had dope hid in the car because, you know, I was so dope, you know.
Yeah.
And I wasn't no big time dope dealer, let's be clear about that. But I was also an academic, you know, schooling, but I sold dope.
Okay.
And so when I went to church that night, and so you'll know I've been saved now 42 years.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that, man.
Yeah, 42 years. So when I went to church that night, I wasn't planning on getting saved. Matter of fact, my wife, who is my wife now, was my girlfriend, as we called it back then. And she had started going to church, and she gave her life to the Lord. And so, you know, I go to church. And my thought was, I'm going to go to church with her tonight, but we're going to have church after church.
Right. Is that a thing that goes on? Like I hear a lot of people saying, like I didn't go to church to get saved that day or that night.
Yeah, it does happen. Exactly. God kind
It
of
happened a lot like
He set
that.
you up.
Okay.
You know?
Finish the story.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with her, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, at church we're gonna
have a
together.
nice service.
We're gonna have another service.
I got heard
That
this
was the
story
plan,
before.
you know.
Right.
We're gonna have a little altar call after church.
Hey, for real. And that's how I be too. Hey, look, I'm gonna follow her.
I'm following her,
Follow her
man.
straight up in it.
And I didn't know that the Lord was setting me up, man. He had already planned and had already put in the steps of me going to church. And that night, man, it was supernatural. I gave my life to the Lord on that Friday night, and when I got out of church, I went home and poured the dope down the toilet. You know what I mean? Because this way I'm wired, Rip, I'm black or white. So it's either I'm gonna do it or not gonna do it. It's how I'm wired, you know. And so that night, my mind was made up. That was 42 years ago. It was a wrap.
You ain't looked back since.
No. It was a wrap. So and to solidify.
I look back a couple times, bitch.
Well, that's all right.
But you ain't look back since.
I ain't look back. No. That's not saying I've been perfect, but it's never been a time in my 42 years where I thought to go back. No, there's never been an option. Now I bumped my head a few times.
Yeah, I think I bumped my head. I wouldn't say I look back. I never look back. No.
Yeah, but going back wasn't even an option, man. See, confusion. Hear this today. Confusion is the outcome of too many options.
Hold on, say that again. Break it down, Bishop. Break it down.
Confusion is the outcome of too many options. So if you limit your options, you minimize your confusion. That's real talk.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't confused. Why? Because I limited my options.
Right.
And so again, when the Lord called me when I got saved, and then moving forward, 5 years after being saved, God called me to preach. Now, you got time? You want to hear the short story?
Yeah, let's hear the short
I'll give you a
story.
brief story.
Speak on it.
So when I got saved, I said to the Lord, number one, I didn't want to be a preacher. All right. And I said to the Lord, if you call me to preach, I want to know that it's you. I don't want no one to tell me, some folks say, well, your head's shaped like a preacher, or your big mama said you're going to be a preacher. None of that. I didn't
you
want
look
none
like
of
a
that.
preacher.
Oh, no. It's too serious of a vocation, bro. And so,
No, that's right.
So what happened, I was at home with my wife, and we had been saved 5 years, married 5 years, and we had an argument, a debate about something, and it was a contentious moment. And so after the moment, I just started quoting scriptures. Didn't know why, I was just quoting scriptures. And as I'm quoting the scripture, the Spirit of God came upon me. Literally, the Lord's Spirit came upon me. And this is supernatural. You ready for this? I'm standing in my bedroom, but my spirit was in the Lord's presence.
What?
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's like my body was here, but my spirit was there.
And you can see that?
I could see it. I couldn't see him, but I could hear the sound of, as it was many waters, like the ocean. And the Lord said to me, while I was in that place, he said, you are a preacher. I've called you to preach. Just like that, as I'm talking to you. Supernatural, man. And while I was in his presence, I began to preach in his presence. And then that moment, when I came back to myself, I began to weep because I knew it was God, and I couldn't deny it. Ooh. And I wept for about 2 hours. I told God, take it back. I'm not ready. I can't do this. But then it dawned on me. It's a privilege. It is an honor to be called by God. And so from that day, again, that's another level of salvation. So I've been saved 42 years. So I've been preaching 37 years now. That was 37 years ago.
Man, that's a blessing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
And it's just something you can't explain. It's something God had to be a part of.
No doubt.
To happen.
No. I'm not one of them preachers, yeah, I have seminary training and all that stuff. But
yeah.
I'm not one of them guys, just because I got education, I'm a preacher, or because I've been around the church. No, I had a supernatural experience.
Let me ask you a personal question. Do you, I want to ask this right, do you believe in passing the torch? I see a lot of pastors pass away. They be in wheelchairs, and they just like who's next? Like, not asking you who's next, but I'm just saying who's next if you get to that point where it's wheelchair, you going to the hospital once a month. I done seen pastors pass away, and nobody it was looking like who's gonna take this.
Oh yeah.
Like, is that a thing that should be in a plan?
Well, let me just say this to you. Let's talk about me now.
Okay.
I hope that don't happen to me.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I am working on a plan of succession.
Yeah.
Because and we have something in place now, but we're going to take it to another level. Because I just, unfortunate to your point, sometimes preachers stay too long in the pulpit.
Come on, Bishop.
And for me, I'm a visionary. And my reality is that if the day would come where I don't have the bandwidth and the breadth to cast vision and to motivate people and the drive to do what I'm doing, it's time to walk away. Real talk. Because I would rather get out of the way and let someone else do ministry. Now that's from me, from a personal perspective. The other side of the equation is that I'm going to retire from ministry. Real talk. And then I'm going to retire, and someone else will take this church and do ministry. I got I'm a consultant, life coach, because I wrote 2 books. So I got a lot of things I can do and will do, and then I'm gonna play a whole lot of golf.
He playing golf. You can't cut that out. He playing golf till the day he die.
That's right.
He playing golf.
That's right.
And that's what's up. That's the fun time. That's the me time. All that. That's the peace. All that come with that. That's how I feel about basketball. I want to share a short story with you. I went out to a church, transformation. Mm-hmm. Michael Todd. It was like his 5th year anniversary. He's a young guy.
Okay.
He's about 35 years old.
I know you're talking about.
It was a Caucasian pastor. He was over the church for so long, and they had like 250 members. And he said, God, that's the reason why I asked you that. He said God spoke to him and told him, give the church to Michael Todd, allowed Michael Todd to be the pastor of the church. And they said from that day forward, it's been crazy.
Oh yeah.
And they went from 250 to now like 6,000 members in the time period of 5 years, and then they paid off the church, paid off some other stuff. Now they done paid off the whole block, and it's just crazy now. They're giving churches hundreds of thousands of dollars now.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
But it was because he was obedient. Because I went to the service and he was up there. The guy, he came and it was because I was obedient to God. They had a whole conversation on stage.
Okay.
And they burnt the
mortgage.
Yeah, the mortgage
That's
and stuff.
awesome, man.
Yeah, and it was amazing. I was happy to be in the presence of to witness it and stuff.
Right.
To see another level of ministry, and not only that, to see a pastor that would pass the torch.
Absolutely, man. And frankly, I'm looking forward to that day, pass the torch, man.
Your job is done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You did it, and I know you're not done now, because I just know I was in service a couple weeks ago, and you could just you know. You
Right,
know, okay,
right,
we don't
right.
have to talk about that.
Right.
You know, and God will show you, and He'll give it to you, and He'll let you know, and you will know. You the feeling and
Oh,
everything else,
absolutely.
you will know. So we don't got to
Absolutely.
go into details about that. But talk about your role in the PAW.
Well, I'm not in the PAW. I was in the
I
PAW for
know.
a season.
So what was your role in that?
Well, I was the they called. I was the president. I was the youth director. They call it state chairman.
Okay.
But it really was multiple states during the time. I was over about 66 churches at the time, leadership-wise. You know, I was the youth leader.
Yeah.
And so my role was obviously administration, conventions or conferences, they would call them. Again, leadership development. So it was really broad in terms of my overall responsibility. And the thing that was interesting for me was when I was elected as the president, then God called me to pastor within the 3-year window. So my term was up. I didn't pursue another term. I was pastoring at the time, and of course trying to manage a thriving church. My church, when we were in Pine Lawn, we were doing 3 Sunday morning services in about 18 months. Yeah, I was preaching 3 times on Sunday morning, brother.
You was on fire.
5. I was young, dude.
So take me through that process right there. The storefront church, the Believers Temple, when it first happened, and how did the vision come about? Let's start there.
Well, when I was called to preach, my thought was to travel the country and evangelize.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my thought. But God had a different plan. And I did preach in different cities and things like that, so not to the scope that I thought I would.
Yeah.
And then God called me to pastor. And once that happened, my whole vision shifted. And as a visionary, you see vision in everything. I mean, I saw church, I saw a liquor store could be a church. Because when you got vision, you know, everything looks like vision to you. Everything look like a everything like a possible. Everything look like this could be the place.
Everything like a possibility.
Because your vision.
Ooh.
When you got vision, man, I saw whatever. It didn't matter about the building because I knew as a visionary, I could transform that into what God was showing me. And so when I started the church in Pine Lawn, as I stated, we went in and initially we had 30, the first service we had probably a couple of hundred people because everybody was happy for me. Then the next week, about 35 people. Well, that thing started blowing up, man, and in a matter of 18 months.
That's why I finna ask, what was that moment when you thought like, this big. We need to get a new building. We need to start planning on some different stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Was it like to the point where people couldn't even come?
Man, listen, it was folks standing outside. Couldn't get in. We could seat comfortably at that time about 125 people in the storefront, and it was packed all 3 services every Sunday.
It was hot up in there.
Hot. but to your point, and which was unprecedented in terms of that type of growth in the St. Louis area.
Yeah.
And so after 18 months, we were able to, probably 20 months, we were able to purchase 6.2 acres of land that we're currently on. Actually have 10 now. We purchased 6.2 acres of land, of course, building next door, 3 served. Then we purchased this building, $2.5 million here. And then, of course, we just built 2020, $9.68 million senior housing complex, and we got 2 more in September, 10.8 million each.
That's what's up, Bishop.
Yeah, Scott Manor 2. So when you pull up, you see Scott Manor 1, 42 units, then Scott Manor 2, 50 units, and then at McDonald Boulevard, 270 Elm Ridge, another $10.8 million facility.
Okay, that's good. Y'all heard, hey, Believers Temple, come join the church. Give your life to God, people.
God is good, man.
Yeah,
I give
for
him all
real.
the credit for the record. I don't take credit for nothing.
Yeah,
He gets
that's
all
what's
the
up.
credit, yeah.
That's what's up. So moving forward, being named, I don't know if this just came like we look at him over time and the loyalty he done put in this county, becoming the president of the
Housing Authority.
Housing Authority.
So I've been on the St. Louis County Housing Authority as a board commissioner. This is 20, since 2012, I believe, maybe 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I've been on the board for a few years, and then so ideally every 2 years you have the opportunity to become the president of the board.
Okay.
I didn't really want it. So my time came, I just let it pass. I was just good working on being on the board as a board commissioner.
Yeah.
So when Dr. Sam Page became the county executive, the word came to me that he wanted me to be the president of the board. So I'm like, do I want to do this, Lord? And so when it was asked of me, because I'm a community leader and I want to be a part of what's happening in the community, I thought it was a great opportunity for me to expand my overall influence. And so I was elected as
That was good.
selected as the board president of Saints County Housing Authority. Yeah. So
And you still that's
to this day,
current.
yeah, that's to this day.
And do that change? Is it a term?
A couple of years it could, but it's gonna be on me at the end of the day. I always do community. Even when I
Right.
retire from church, I'm gonna be community. We got to be in the community.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. The book, The
Psychology of Winning?
The Psychology of Winning.
Yeah, yeah.
Explain the message behind that, and how did it come about? Like,
Well, I consider myself a serial entrepreneur.
serial
Entrepreneur. Yeah, yeah.
What's the difference between an entrepreneur and a serial entrepreneur?
You got to hustle.
I guess I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
You got to hustle. When you're a serial entrepreneur, you're always doing something, trying to do something, tapping into something. And so I'll tell you what happened. I bought a tax franchise in 2000, maybe 14, 15. And I had big plans. Obviously create a lot of revenue, create jobs for people, bless the church and all that. And the deal didn't come to fruition. It was a great concept, but the company didn't deliver at the end of the day. And so I had a moment. I was frustrated, just exasperated because, I got this great plan, didn't come to pass. And so I had a conversation with God and myself, and I decided to do me. I said, I'm good at being me, so do you. So I began to create the brand, Real Talk with the Bishop. Started in my kitchen because,
That's some good stuff,
I'm
too.
an author already, so
Yep.
I was going to write some more books. And so I'm in my kitchen. I'm saying, wait a minute, you got this platform, maximize the platform. And
Right.
so the brand was Real Talk with the Bishop, obviously, because I'm authentic, I'm real. And from there, I strategically began to structure my lessons based upon my book outline. So I created chapters, and then I would create the narrative for the chapters. And so that became the platform for my book, The Psychology of Winning. And so
That's
from
tough.
there, my daughter, who's my publisher, Elder Green, she said, you got to be authentic,
Shout out,
be real.
sis.
Yeah. She's great, Purpose Publishing House. And so from there, I started writing, putting together the pieces. And really, the essence of the book is this. It's about thinking like a winner. I use Maya Angelou, Dr. King, Einstein, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan. I extract from various leaders and winners, et cetera. So the perspective is you have to be trained to think like a winner. And I tell people you cannot teach passion. Either you have it or you don't. I can't give you 7 steps to passion. It's a matter of you decide you're going to do it and nothing's going to stop you. And so when I wrote the book, I didn't just want to write a book for a particular group of folk in terms of, you want to have a target always in writing a book. But I wanted to write it about life, and no matter if you're married, single, in business, you're an intellectual, PhD, et cetera. So the book has an intellectual narrative to it, also has a practical perspective to it. And I give you steps in terms of thinking like a winner, overcome challenges. One of my chapters I talk about having a victim's mentality, where you're a victim and you have a mentality of a victim. That mentality of a victim, it's not something that it's not in your DNA. It is learned behavior. This disposition where you feel sorry for yourself. And we all have had those moments.
Yeah.
Pity parties.
Yeah.
And so I talk about the realities that, that's self-inflicted. Who hasn't lost? Who hasn't gone through something? Who hasn't been punched in some way or another? So you got to get over yourself, and so I talk about that in the book, about raising your emotional IQ. And which often we don't talk about that. The reality is that we have to develop our emotional intelligence. That means that, for instance, if you at work and you lose it, you snap out and you slap your boss, that means you have a low emotional intelligence. Because that really says that emotionally you're not where you need to be, so you got to work on that.
Yeah.
Because you'll go through life, amen, shedding doors and breaking,
Breaking stuff.
destroying relationships
Yeah.
because why? You haven't developed that. And people get married often and don't realize you're not ready for marriage because you're still too emotional. You got to manage that.
You too emotional.
Yeah.
You have a small debate and you just blow up. You can't even control it.
Man,
You can't even understand the next party.
absolutely. Because once you, listen, do you not know that when you get angry, you cut off oxygen to your brain?
I didn't know that.
Man, listen to me. That's why people can go off because they disconnect their brain from the moment. You cut off oxygen. So what happened? You're irrational.
That's some good stuff.
You know,
man.
you're erratic. You shoot people.
You kill people.
Kill people. Because you've cut off the brain. And here's the other side, for the oxygen, brother. So it affects your overall makeup, man. That's why it's important you develop emotional intelligence. Because money don't fix that. There are billionaires that commit suicide.
And the psychology of winning.
Oh,
can
that's
help
all
you.
in the book, man. It's all in the book.
So where you get the book from?
You get the book from...
Where can they go get the book from? I'm gonna give a cash prize if you go get the book, you tag me in it. I'm gonna pull a drawing, and I'm gonna give a cash prize when you show me. When this episode drop, you go get the book, you tag me in it. I'm gonna give it like a 24-hour period after I drop this. I'm gonna let it be known before I drop this episode, and I'm gonna give a cash prize. Whoever buy the book, tag me in it, showing that they confirmed that they bought the book, and I'm gonna pull a drawing and give that person a cash prize. And y'all know I ain't playing. I'm one of the pandemic blessing boys. Had to put that in there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They can go to www.realtalkwiththebishop.com. www.realtalkwiththebishop.com. They can go there and buy the book. Just another little drop. So, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I want to encourage people.
Serial entrepreneur.
Don't despise small beginnings. You know, it's about the hustle at the end of the day. It's about creating. I have currently, Rip, I have at least 8 revenue streams.
Wow.
At least 8.
I thought you only had like 3.
And working on some more. I'm coming out in about another 3 weeks with my own air freshener. It's called the Real Scent.
Come on, man. Cut the cameras off. This is over with. Really?
Yeah, the Real Scent.
The Real Scent. Mm-hmm. What this bring to the table? Because I could go get Febreze, I could go get this.
Yeah, but
what is different about
when
this?
you smell this, man.
Is it the smell?
Oh, the fragrance is, you know.
Do it knock out germs?
Yeah, and it's all natural.
And it's all natural. Mm-hmm. Your face gonna be on that bottle, bitch?
No, I ain't put my face on the bottle.
Good.
But it's gonna be, listen to me. Listen, the Real Scent. Take it from Real Talk with the Bishop.
The Real Talk with the Bishop, the Real Scent.
The Real Scent.
What else real coming?
I can't tell you everything, Rip.
Woo! I tried to get it,
I'm
y'all.
like God. If I tell you, I have to kill you.
Hey, that's some good stuff, man. The Real Scent.
Yeah. And I believe
that's what's up, man. That's what time it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, you have to, as I mentioned, you know, I got at least 8 revenue streams, and working on more.
So do you plan to have like the scent in some stores?
Yeah, car washes, homes. The fragrance, when I got connected to the organization, they let me put my brand on it. And I was blown away by the product itself. And so I said, well, let's negotiate. We negotiated, and they let me come up with my own brand, and it's a wrap. I'm waiting on my first shipment in about 2 weeks.
That's what's up. A lot of markets that just let you a lot of markets.
Yeah.
And then you got to think about you being in the county for so long and being the president of the housing authority and all that stuff just tied to whatever you got going on. You got the platform, like you said earlier in the interview. I appreciate you, Bishop. Let the people know where they can follow you at, your IG, your Facebook, the .com. Give them a welcome to the church. They always come.
So they can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course it's Real Talk with the Bishop on LinkedIn.
So on these platforms, they just type in Bishop Calvin Scott?
They can type in Real Talk with the Bishop.
On any of them platforms?
The only one, LinkedIn will be Calvin Scott or Bishop Calvin Scott.
Okay.
But Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, yeah, they can go Real Talk with the Bishop. Of course, I think we have a great church, you know. And one of the things I do as a theologian, I keep it real. I'm authentic, you know. So what you see in the pulpit, and you know me, Rip, you'll see on the basketball court.
Yeah.
You'll see in the grocery store. Because I think we need to have preachers and theologians and pastors who are real, who are authentic, and can relate. You know, there are many days we had conversations, and you know, we high-fiving, and I'm talking you off the ledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm giving you godly advice, fatherly advice, etc. And so I think that part of me is just who I am.
Yeah, that's just who you is. Yeah. And then we both from Walnut Park, so you kind of gave me another conversation.
Yes, sir.
Another people. Nah, I'm just playing. No, but that's real, Bishop. That's what I was getting to. Before we wrap it up, I just wanted to let you know, man, because of your consistency and never bending, or me never seeing you bend, or you never bending because I believe that you haven't bent. You know what I'm saying? I believe that you are the man that you say you are, a man of integrity, a man of character. And I talk to people a lot. I didn't even know what integrity meant before I started coming to this church, just being real.
Yeah.
And I seen that in example, you know, and because of you being consistent, because of all that, it done kept me. No matter if I done fell and bumped my head, I see Bishop, he's still there, he's still consistent, he's still working, he's still living for God, and I know it's opportunity.
Absolutely,
you
man.
know, I know it's opportunity.
And I took pride in that, man, in inspiring you young guys. I really did. I took it to the heart. You know what I mean? For me, it was personal, man. For me, inspiring you all, empowering and wisdom, to me, that was special to me. Real talk. It wasn't just some, you know, obviously I shot some jumpers on the basketball court, but that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, you kind of hurt our feelings on some nights.
And
then you get on my team and don't make nothing, talking about something going on with your knee. I'm like,
trying
oh
to tell
my
you.
God. Yeah, man, but it was just some good times, man.
Yeah,
it was some good times. It was a
Yeah.
good transition in my life, and my life will never be the same. You know, from that moment forward, me giving my life to God, I gave my life to God. My family came. I got married.
Yeah.
Being in the child, like it was a lot that it helped me be the person who I am today. Even though if stuff didn't work out and stuff, it helped me. It helped shape and mold who I'm going to be and who God called me to be.
Absolutely.
And that's why I know this platform is God is all in this platform. People giving their testimonies and their stories and stuff, and it's impacting people.
Right.
All the time.
Absolutely, man.
So go follow Bishop. Go get the book.
Come to the church.
Come to the church.
We have one service.
Buy the fragrance. Buy
The real scent.
Buy the real scent.
It's coming
I can
out.
keep going on and on and on. You know, he got the Scott Minor. If you got
Housing, senior housing.
If you got any senior in your family that needs support or anything of that nature, come to Believers Temple. I don't know. Just call Believers Temple.
Go to the website.
Go to the website.
btwf.net.
It got it all on there.
Yeah.
This is another episode of Speak On It. I'm the host, the Life Changer. Until next time, I have another episode for y'all. But this is my pastor, man. I love him to death, man.
Love you too, man.
And I
Real
appreciate
talk.
you.
You're tough.
We out.
314 day, it was like, we're gonna make it work. Like, we're gonna get through everything. We're gonna, like, hey, sales look good. We're consistent. But 314 day was like a just step up and above everything that we had done. It was like a culmination.
We appreciate y'all for coming through, man.
It was amazing.
I'm still sore. I'm still sore from 314.
I think we were all just kind of blown away by the success of that day.
And just the support that the city pulled up.
Yeah.
Because I remember the night before, we was like, man, we hope like 100 people come through.
Yeah.
A couple hundred.
That was like a goal was 100.
Y'all was emptying?
After the day? So we had like a couple things still hanging and maybe a hat or something. It was crazy.
We sold probably through 90% of our inventory.
Yeah.
So, but I think in the beginning we all knew that it was going to work.
Yeah.
I think when we had 314, it kind of solidified that.
Yes.